Okay, so we're diving into some pretty heated stuff today.
Yeah, things are heating up for sure.
It's this whole trade war thing brewing between Canada and the U.S.
Yeah, yeah,
And honestly, it's a little unnerving, I think, for a lot of people.
right.
Because like tariffs going back and forth,
Mm.
that's that's not what you want to see when you're just trying to like do your grocery shopping or plan for the future.
Yeah, not at all.
So we're going to unpack exactly what's going on and more importantly, what Canada might do about it.
Okay, sounds good.
We've got some pretty strong statements from some big names in Canadian politics.
Oh, this will be good.
And let me tell you, they are not holding back.
I can imagine.
So first off, what's really interesting to me is how this whole trade tension thing,
Yeah.
it's really showing us the different like priorities and power dynamics within Canada.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like each leader is coming at this with their own strategy.
Yeah, like playing to their strength.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. So right off the bat, we've got Jagmeet Singh,
Okay.
leader of the NDP, and he is not messing around.
Oh, really?
He's basically saying, like, if the U.S. hits us with tariffs,
Yeah.
we hit back and we hit back hard.
Okay.
Specifically, he's talking about holding back critical minerals like cobalt and lithium.
Oh, wow.
Now, you probably know these are super important for like electric vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, essential.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
It's not just that these things are important. It's that the U.S. is really trying to ramp up their own EV production.
Right.
And they need Canada for
Yeah.
these resources.
Yeah, big time.
So imagine like Tesla scrambling to find new sources of cobalt while their production lines are like,
Screeching to a halt.
exactly.
Yeah.
Suddenly Canada isn't just a supplier anymore. We're like holding the reins.
We've got the power.
Yeah, of the U.S.'s electric vehicle future.
Ooh,
That's some serious leverage.
for sure.
And Singh's ready to use it.
Oh, wow. So it's like a,
It's like a don't mess with us kind of.
yeah, don't mess with us.
But wouldn't cutting off these minerals hurt Canadian mining companies too?
That's the question, isn't it?
Is it really a win-win, or are we like playing with fire
Yeah,
here?
because retaliation,
Yeah.
it always has that risk of things escalating,
Mhm.
and nobody wants a full-blown trade war.
Right. It'd be bad for everybody.
Lose-lose.
So Singh's definitely trying to send a message.
A strong one.
But it is risky,
Mm.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's not ignoring the fact that tariffs will hit everyday Canadians,
Yeah.
like our jobs, the value of our dollar, even the price of things we buy every day.
Right, the stuff that really matters.
But he's saying we can't back down.
Got to stand our ground.
Okay, so now let's shift gears completely.
Okay, where are we going?
Let's hop over to Alberta, where Premier Danielle Smith is singing a totally different tune.
Really?
She just met with Trump and seems pretty confident that he's going to back down from these tariff threats.
Huh, interesting.
So no need for a mineral showdown, according to her.
So she's thinking no retaliation necessary.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember, Alberta's economy is like really tied to oil and gas,
Right,
and that's something the U.S. needs.
big time.
So she might be thinking that this energy dependency will protect Canada.
At least Alberta.
Yeah, at least Alberta from the worst of the trade war fallout.
Makes sense.
It's a much more like, let's be friends approach.
It's conciliatory.
Yeah, she's betting on diplomacy and those existing trade relationships.
Interesting.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
Smith's stance is like the total opposite of what we heard from Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly a while back.
Oh, yeah.
Joly even suggested that we might consider an energy embargo against the U.S.,
Whoa.
which is kind of like the nuclear option in this whole thing, right?
Pretty much.
And then Smith comes out and says this: you should never, ever threaten something you cannot do.
So what's she getting at?
Is she like low-key hinting that an embargo is off the table?
It's definitely open to interpretation. It could be a message to the U.S. saying like, hey, Canada's bark is worse than its bite.
Right.
Or maybe it's directed at folks in Canada who are pushing for more aggressive action. Maybe
Mhm.
she's trying to manage expectations,
Yeah.
like signaling that some retaliatory options just aren't going to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And just when you think we've covered all the angles,
What now?
enter Ontario Premier Doug Ford,
Okay.
adding another whole layer to this.
Oh, boy.
He's threatening to cut off electricity exports to the U.S.
Electricity?
and reminding everyone how much those border states depend on Canadian power.
Oh, wow. So like imagine rolling blackouts
Yeah,
during a heat wave.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the kind of pressure Ford's using.
That's serious leverage.
It's way more targeted than the NDP's approach.
Right, like a laser focus.
And it really shows how connected our economies are, especially with energy.
Yeah, totally.
The impact would be immediate on both sides of the border.
For sure.
So you can see how divided Canada is on this whole issue.
Yeah, total different approaches.
We've got people like Singh and Ford who are ready to flex Canada's muscle
Let's show 'em what we got.
in different ways. And then we have Smith, who's taking a more cautious route.
Right, hoping for a peaceful resolution.
Exactly. Banking on diplomacy and those existing trade relationships.
It's almost like watching a poker game.
Oh,
Yeah, high stakes. Everyone's assessing their hand, calculating their risks, trying to predict the other player's next move.
that's a good analogy.
And what's at stake here isn't just the economy.
Right.
It's Canada's place on the world stage.
That's a big deal.
Huge, a real defining moment.
This whole deep dive has definitely given us a lot to think about.
Food for thought.
But here's a question for you listening.
Yeah.
With all these different views and potential strategies, what do you think is the best move for Canada?
What should we prioritize?
It's a tough one, and there's no easy answer.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us as we try to figure out this complicated and honestly pretty stressful situation.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll see you next time.